Hello guys, in this video I'll show you how to work on some coding interview task. I'll choose this task from HackerRank website, and this website contains easy, medium and hard level tasks. We will choose easy one just because we don't want to stuck here for like 1 hour and because it's easy to explain to you. And also it's not about the complexity of the task per se, but about the process, how we go about this. I'll try to show you how usually a person who doing an interview goes about the task, how he talks as he writes code. In this case, he's me. Also, I'll show you, just pay attention on these moments when I prepare a ground for myself, like doing a plan before I start coding. You will see that I put some comments before trying to come up with some steps. And then as soon as I feel solid ground, I'll jump to next step to do some coding. Then I can come back and think again, then solid ground, and again jump. Okay, so this kind of pieces are important. Otherwise, I understand the video could be kind of boring if you just watch it without the goal of being on interview. How you can use this video? You can just start it and pause it, you know, and following the same steps as I do, create the same kind of environment that I have and doing this with myself, trying to see what you do comparing to what I do. Maybe for you, the talking will be not that important and not be a problem at all. But for some people, it's a problem. They cannot talk and do the same time. When they write code and talking, whatever they say is kind of nonsense because they're so concentrated on the task. So that's why it's kind of important to explain to your opponent, the guy who interviews you, to explain what you're gonna do before doing, right? Otherwise, you might be stuck in the middle and he or she cannot help you because he doesn't know where you're going, right? And he might be lost together with you if you just mess up with your code. So the talking part is important. I think kind of gives you the goal, the clear picture where you're going, because it's better to talk it through before you step somewhere, right? In general, I think in life it's also important just to know where you're going and have kind of like a plan, at least maybe a couple of steps ahead, right? Yeah. Enjoy, don't judge hard. It's easy task. Let's just define what we need to work on. We need to work on something like that. Initially, like I just showed to you here, we have the 6 elements. We have to calculate the minimum and maximum of all combination of sums of minimum of maximum of all combinations by 4 in this array. What does it mean? It's easier to implement than to say. That is the point, by the way. We have to be able to state what we want. Otherwise, we may end up doing something wrong, and this is bad. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. So initially we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And we have to calculate the sum of first 4. I mean, all combinations of by 4, right? So this is the first combination. The second combination will be obviously this, right? So this is the first one, this is the second one by 4, and this is the third one. And there are only 3 of them in this specific case because there is nothing left. So you see, there is a pattern already. You're supposed to see it. We are repeating ourselves again and again, so it's going to be something like a loop. What exactly we're repeating? Every of this operation is the same operation actually. We maybe can call it, if we want to get next 4 elements or something like that, right? So basically this is the same thing again and again. The only difference is that it will be the next. So we will be just moving in, we will be just taking the 4 elements, moving through the initial array, which is ARR in this case. Wow. Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna do this how long? Until we still have 4 elements inside, right? So let's say this is the very last iteration, and there is no need to go to the further one because there is no 4 elements in the initial list anymore. So we can write away some piece of code that kind of align it with what we just said. We're saying while the array size still more or equal 4, then we will be doing this. We'll be doing that. Okay. First of all, this array size is not defined yet. Let's define it like that. We know that in the very beginning the size will be 6, so this is the initial array size, and then it will be shrinking. Right now it's 6, on every iteration it will be lower and lower, 5, 4, etc. If we run this right away, let's do it. It's not going to work, but let's say you don't know. You see, I run this, nothing happens, and more than that, it's actually in the internal loop. You see? Let's stop it. It's an internal loop because it went to this while loop, and this condition is never false, right? Let's make it right. We have to, first of all, let's put something like limit 4, because I don't like this 4 to be there. It's like a magic number, but it's not that critical, and it's not gonna fix our internal loop. To fix the internal loop, obviously we have to change either this or that. The limit is actually constant. We're not supposed to change it because limit is always 4. But the array size is something that's subject for change. And we know that array size is going to be moving down, right? So it's going to be minus equal 1. It will, yes, I mean this is fine, right? That's what we just said. Yeah, and let's do it again. We'll run it, nothing going to happen, because it will just work through 3 times and done, right? So no internal loop. We fixed internal loop, which is good. We still can test that it happens 3 times. Usually I put it like that. Let's do it. We're supposed to see 3 times of this dash dash. 3 times. Good. Good enough. So what is the next thing? The next thing, right now we just did this. We went through this 3 times. The condition is set, so we're not going forever. Good. The next thing, we have to go and take 4 elements for every iteration. So it's going to be another loop, right? And this loop will be going through 4 elements always. I know that this 4 elements is fixed, so it's kind of easy to do this. It's going to be another loop in the loop, and I'm gonna go easy on you and myself also. Just gonna use some just 4 loops, classic, old school, and you can use the same thing in many other languages. I minus what? Limit 4 times. We have to do this 4 times, and we use this I as an index to get what we want from the array, right? So we can get from the array by index, and this is will be our element. So in this case, what do we get? This element by index. So we're going, if we start from 0, then the index will be 0, so it will take 1, 2, 3, 4, and it will get this one. But next time it will go, it's supposed to be started from different index, right? +1. So let's do it. Start from. So it's going to be start index. Start index is 0 because we're starting from 0. I'll show you here 0. Just to make it clear, we keep this nice documentation, if you will, in the comments, and this is our plan that we act upon. Okay. Oops, sorry, clicked somewhere. Here we go. Start index. The start index will be also moving, will be changing. It will be changing over time plus to 1, because the index will be obviously going from 0 to 1, 3, etc. So in this case it's 1 and then 2, right? That's why we're doing this plus plus thing. So good. We can even print this element if we want to. Yeah, let's do it. Element, and run this to see if it makes sense for us. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 doesn't make any sense, right? Because the index is not changed. Because we forgot something. We forgot this. That's why we put this start index. And that's why it's nice to run our application occasionally to see that the expectations are met. Right now it's better. I can zoom it for you. I don't know if you can see. You're supposed to see because I see it, right? And we're on the same page. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, blah blah, 6, exactly as we planned. So what we just did together, guys, together, we just did it together. We are the team. Are you effective team? I am. Did you watch this movie, Tom Cruise? Nice one. Yes, let's do this, let's do this. Let's concentrate, but be relaxed, but concentrate, okay? Bear with me. So here we go, next element, something, yeah, that's what we're working on, next element. In this case, next 4 elements, we're just taking them element by element 4 times, so this kind of done. We need to calculate a sum, because remember, it's all about this sum, maximum and minimum. So in the beginning, sum is 0, of course, and to calculate a sum, to this 0 we'll be adding this element. So in this case, like for the first iteration, it will take the first and add it to sum 2, blah, blah, blah. And in the end, if you summarize all this, it's gonna make us for 10, right? And then think about it. We're just calculating these sums. It's gonna be 10, then 18, I think, or 14, and then 18, something like that. We'll see. We have to keep collection of sums, because in the end we have to calculate minimum or maximum. But if we want to, we can just print this right here, just to feel better that we're on the right path. Yes, there's something obviously wrong with it, because there's some, this is not supposed to be here. Yes, that's like that, right? We don't need, yeah, it's supposed to be here, because as soon as we get the sum, so you see, okay, 10, 14, 18, 10, 14, 18, we're on the right path. And let's create a variable that will be keeping the sums, array list of integers. Let me try again. New array list of integers. Here we go. Sum, and here we'll be adding some to the sums, something like that, to summarize this, and let print the result. As out sums. Let's see. Here we go, we have it here. Nice. Right now we have to create a function, actually two functions, minimum and maximum. So in the end we will be doing something like that, minimum, because we have to find the minimum from these numbers, and maximum from that numbers. Let's do this. If you with IDE, it helps you create these functions. In this case, oh my god, no, it's too smart sometimes. Sometimes IDE is too smart. Static void main, no, not main, mean, int mean, taking the list of integers, list, right? Not void, obviously, because it will return int, the minimum. And let's implement it. So this is really easy to implement, I think, for everyone. So I'm not gonna explain too much other than writing code. So it's like a minimum going to be, let's say, the first element in the list. Then we will go on through the list with simple for loop as usual, list size I++, like that. Old school again, that's okay. And if this list, if this element in the list by that index is more, is less than minimum, and then we found new minimum. So we will assign this element that we get, kind of repeat themselves, but it's okay. And I know we're starting from 0, which is okay. Maybe not too much okay, but I mean we're supposed to start from 1 because we already took first element from 0, but it's fine. We can work on that later. Doesn't matter for now. Return minimum. Here we go. So what's wrong with that? Already defined. Where is defined? We defined it before. Okay, cool. Same for maximum. Yeah, everything will be kind of the same, but the naming will be different and the condition will be different, like that. So that should work. Let's see. We just use this min max function here, and here we go. It just did what we expected it to be done. 10 and 18. So we implemented this. It's easy, and hope you enjoyed. Okay, me and myself, we hope you enjoyed this program. Thank you very much.